One winter morning, we sat quietly in the classroom, listening to the wired broadcast. A male voice came through the loudspeaker, reading aloud the declaration of the Shanghai People's Commune in Mandarin tinged with a Shanghai accent. The declaration opened with the lines, "The stirred seas rage the clouds and waters, the trembled continents infuriate the wind and thunder." It announced that the rebel organization in Shanghai had seized control of the city's administration. Those two opening lines were from a poem by Chairman Mao. I'd always found them a bit unconvincing. Clouds and waters raging? Clouds and water are just vapor, they might rain, but how do they rage? The second line makes more sense, thunder always sounds enraged. Just then, a sudden shout came from the row in front of me. It was past British. "There's a dead sparrow." I saw it too. Inside the hollow of her desk drawer, a small bird lay lifeless. Ms. Liu had been nodding off in a chair behind the podium. Past British's cry and my report jolted her awake. She stood up unsteadily, her body beginning to sway slightly. Ms. Liu was usually terrified of dead animals. "Someone, please help take it out," she pleaded. "What's there to be afraid of?" "I'll do it," said Little Six, walking over. He reached into past British's drawer and pulled the dead bird out by one wing. His hand moved in a slow arc through the air, and the bird's other wing and both legs drooped limply. The long feathers nearly brushed past British's nose. "Ah!" Past British flung herself backward as if about to faint. "Hurry, someone help her up." Ms. Liu was nearly in tears. I worried she might collapse herself. Zhang's satellite came over and helped lift past British to her feet. Ms. Liu took her by the hand and led her out of the room, probably to the teacher's office. "It's snack time," I said. "Little Six, next time put a dead bird in my bag too." "I'm starving," said Bai Baoqiang. "Who says I put it there?" Little Six replied. "But here, this one I am putting." He walked to the door, picked up a dustpan and broom from behind it, and carefully balanced them across the top of the half-open door and the frame. If someone pushed the door open now, the broom and dustpan would fall and hit them right on the head. We called this trick Heavenly Maiden Scatters Flowers. Number 4 joined in too. He swapped Ms. Liu's chair with a broken one from the corner, wedging the snapped leg just well enough under the seat to make it stand barely. These were the kinds of pranks we played in our class. Ms. Liu knew about them, of course, but she just couldn't keep us under control. Sometimes, when we pushed her too far, she'd pretend to get angry. But her furious face was so ridiculous, it only made us act out more. The funniest times in the classroom were always when Ms. Liu was up at the front teaching, and we were all chatting below. When she spoke softly, we lowered our voices. When she got louder, we raised ours. Our classroom was like a mixed choir featuring 1 frog and 50 insects. Both sides increased or decreased their volume in perfect synchrony. Everyone got more and more excited except Ms. Liu, and eventually, the volume swelled to a point where everyone was talking, but no one could hear what anyone else was saying. Finally, Ms. Liu would reach her breaking point and slam her rattan pointer onto the lectern with a loud bang. As usual, no one paid attention. Then she would either give up and keep teaching, or she would walk to the blackboard and write 2 large characters, "Stay after school," followed by a heavy colon. If it was the latter, the classroom would fall suddenly silent. If anyone dared keep talking, Ms. Lu would write their student number beneath the colon. Astonishingly, she remembered everyone's student number. None of us could stand being made to stay after school. Of course, it was all symbolic. Ms. Lu never punished anyone, and staying after school never lasted long. The door opened. Heaven help us, it wasn't Ms. Lu. It was Pass British. With a loud whack, the broom and dustpan came crashing down on her head, and the classroom burst into laughter. Ms. Lu, walking in right behind her, was stunned. She rushed forward and helped the pale and wobbling Pass British to the chair behind the lectern. Crash! A loud noise erupted as both of them disappeared behind the desk. 2 shrieks followed. It turned out Pass British had landed hard on her rear, and Ms. Lu had tried to catch her, lost her balance, and fallen too. Pass British climbed up in tears. Ms. Liu's arm is hurt. Ms. Lu lay on the floor in pain, clutching her right arm with her left. We were stunned. The classroom went dead silent. Get her to the hospital, someone shouted. It was about a 20-minute walk from our school to the Army Academy Hospital. Our whole class escorted Ms. Lu to the emergency room. It was packed. At that very moment, Wang Hongwen, nicknamed Wang Little III, was leading the Revolutionary Workers' Headquarters of Shanghai, the Gongzongsi, in an attack on the Shanghai Revolutionary Rebel Joint Headquarters, the Lianxi, at the Shanghai Diesel Engine Factory. Little III was the commander of the Gongzongsi and ranked third in the newly formed Shanghai Revolutionary Committee. From the names, you might think this was just 2 rebel organizations brawling. Since the First World War, the world has seen all sorts of headquarters, but how often have 2 headquarters staff literally fought each other? If all wars could be resolved this way, the world would be a simpler place. Imagine Stalin and Hitler commanding their respective military HQs, sending their secretaries, advisors, and cooks into one-on-one combat while the 2 leaders faced off in a wrestling match or boxing bout to determine the outcome of World War II. Honestly, that would be great. Instead of millions of Soviet and German soldiers dying for their leaders' ideological quarrels, why not let the leaders settle it themselves? But that's not how it works. The scoundrels holed up in those command centers never show their faces. Instead, they lure or force ordinary people who have no quarrel with each other and don't even speak the same language into slaughtering one another in the name of some ever-changing, half-baked ideology. Stirring up one group of people to fight another. The Gongzongsi had over 1 million members, the Lianxi had hundreds of thousands. The 2 rebel organizations were sworn enemies, constantly clashing. T-Hat Day's brawl at the diesel engine factory involved tens of thousands people. Rumor had it Chairman Mao himself was watching a live broadcast of the melee from a safe location. We pushed our way into the emergency room. Jin Huan flagged down a nurse who was practically sprinting through the hallway. The nurse was drenched in sweat, clutching 8 bags. With 2 thick rolls of emergency bandages tucked under her arms. One foot had a shoe, the other just a sock. Her flushed face was dotted with acne so swollen they looked ready to burst. I couldn't help but wince in sympathy for them. Ms. Lu told her, I fell. My arm won't move. Mild injury, mild injury. Sit and wait. So many of you. You're blocking the way. 2 people can stay, the rest go back, she said as she walked off. She nearly bumped into an oxygen tank leaning against the wall. Only then did I take in the full scene. Every bed in the ER was occupied by a bloody, mangled body. Some patients were lying right on the floor. More kept pouring in. "That's an orthopedic doctor, my neighbor." Lu Haifeng pointed to an elderly man working by a hospital bed. The gray-haired man was bent over a leg dripping blood. Lu Haifeng ran up and whispered something into his ear. Soon, the old man walked over. He carefully examined Ms. Liu's arm. Her arms were long and elegant. Something about the way he palpated her injury made me think, maybe I should become an orthopedic doctor when I grow up. "Need an X-ray," he said. "But all the machines are broken, 3 of them. They've been running non-stop for 3 days and nights." Still, he said he could do it by touch, find the fracture by hand, reset the bone, and apply a cast. "Uncle Yang is a professor of orthopedics," Lu Haifeng murmured. "Used to be," the old man corrected. "Now just a technician." I knew what he meant. Since the Cultural Revolution began, many hospital professors had been reclassified by the rebel organizations. "But the plaster's all gone," he added with a bitter smile. "What now?" I felt a wave of disappointment. "No worries," he said. "I saved a packet for myself." Seeing our confusion, he explained, "I have a debate at the Culture Square at 5:30 this afternoon. Might turn into a fight. My old bones can't handle it. I'd planned to use it for myself, but fine, your teacher gets it. Uncle Yang, do you want us to come help you fight this afternoon?" I offered. "Don't be ridiculous," he snapped. "You kids with your skinny arms and legs, how could you stand a chance in a fight? Once I set this cast, all of you go straight home."